Hello everybody and welcome back to Path to Platinum, the series where I show you guys how to get all trophies in a specific game. And due to an overwhelming amount of requests I've received from my Dark Souls Remastered video asking me to cover the second game, well, let's just say this was bound to happen. And if you guys want to see a guide for the Dark Souls 3, well then, you know what to do. Just let me know. Now, just a quick little thing to add before we get started. If you guys enjoy this video or it helps you out, then please be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more Path to Platinum guides and other content. And if you guys are interested in more than just my guides, I live stream here on my channel almost every single day, trophy hunting in various games. I also do challenge runs, and I take requests from you guys, but if you guys want to come by and chill, then consider showing me some support. I'd really appreciate it, but if not, then no worries. Alrighty then, without further ado, this is Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. Let's get right in there. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do as soon as you start the game, once you've created your character, is just go ahead and casually walk off this cliff. Alright, so here we are in Majula. Now, as soon as you get here, there's going to be a handful of things you can do. There's going to be a couple covenants you can grab, which I'm going to show you right now where to go to get them. If you just want to walk over here along this cliffside, you can scoop up your first covenant. I wouldn't recommend joining it. This covenant is specifically made for raising the difficulty of the game, so I would avoid it at all costs. But what's really nice about covenants in this game is you don't actually have to commit to joining them. You can just have the NPC or whoever ask you if you want to join the covenant, and then the trophy will pop simply from just waiting without actually saying yes, so it's pretty fucking nice. Next up, we're going to want to come talk to Salden over here, and as per usual, if you're used to Dark Souls format, you're going to want to exhaust everyone's dialogue, and once you do, he'll offer you the covenant. Feel free to join it. It's whatever. It's a pretty casual covenant. There's no stipulations or anything. Once you've done that, you can talk to him again and go ahead and receive your gesture. Now, next up, we're going to be at the Forest of Fallen Giants. Once you get to the first main bonfire of the area, you're going to run into another NPC here, Melatina, I believe her name is. And you can buy some spells from her, or one spell and one miracle. And she also sells some pretty other useful things like a Pharros lockstone and the blacksmith key. I would recommend picking those up as well. They're not that much money. You could just run around and kill a few enemies until you grind out enough to buy those things from her. She even sells FGs, which is nice, but she's pretty great for just starting off the game. Sells a lot of useful stuff. So feel free to scoop up that stuff, and also, as always, exhaust her dialogue, and she will return to Majula. Now, once you've done that, this is completely optional. You don't have to do this, and it's completely irrelevant to any and all trophies, so don't worry about it. It's not mandatory, but I would recommend you come down here and go ahead and loot the flame longsword from this chest in this room here, once you've properly avoided the flame salamander. Now, the reason why I would highly recommend this weapon is because it's a fantastic weapon for both PvE and PvP, and it's one of my personal favorites, so I would highly recommend it. It's a great weapon. Anyways, continuing through the Fallen Giants forest, you're gonna run into this dipshit, and he's gonna offer you... What the fuck? What, are you kidding me with this shit? Oh, you're fucking dead, bro. Alright, so as we were saying, go ahead and exhaust Kale's dialogue, and he will end up returning to Majula once you have. So just go ahead and do that. And we're going to continue on our way through the forest. Once you get to this part, you can loot that sorcery there on the corpse. And also, go ahead and go down the ladder in the room and use the Pharros lockstone you got from Melatina to go ahead and get the Chloranthy ring. It's a fantastic ring. That is also optional. You don't have to do it. I just highly recommend it. But once you get to the Lost Bastille, using the Bird's Nest after you defeat the Pursuer, go ahead and grab the Dull Ember from the chest just at the beginning of the area. Once you've done that, you can head over here, open up this door. You can only open it from this side, so it's best that you do this now. We will be returning to this level from another area, so it's nice to have full access. But you're going to run into Lucatiel here, and just go ahead and exhaust her dialogue, as always. With Lucatiel, it's really important. If you miss any of her dialogues, you will fuck up her entire side quest and have to play the entire game again, so don't do that. But if you go ahead and just nudge this barrel here, this is just across the way from Lucatiel, you could smash it into the wall, bust it down, and you will now have access to Steady Hand McDuff. Now, that dull ember we grabbed is going to go nice in his pocket. He's going to love it. He's going to suck you off for it. Just kidding. But go ahead and upgrade anything and everything using him. You're going to want to specifically always come to McDuff for all of your purchases. You need to spend 14,000 souls in order to get his trophy. There is a trophy relevant with him. Now, once you have gotten to your next area, Heide's Tower of Flame, once you defeat the Dragon Rider boss, you will meet this NPC, Lycia, and she sells a fuck ton of miracles. You're going to want to buy them all from her at some point. You will eventually have to kill her. So, just make sure you buy everything from her before you do that. Next up is going to be the No Man's Wharf. Once you get here, just head over into this house, over on the left side of the staircase. And you will find Lucatiel once again. Again, you really want to make sure you don't miss her. Very important to gather all her dialogue. Now, she's also... Actually, I'll get to that in a moment. We're going to talk to Carillion first. Now, you're going to want to exhaust his dialogue as well. He will end up returning to Majula also. So, we're going to need him as well. Also, he won't talk to you unless you have at least 9 intelligence, so make sure you put enough points into that, and of course buy all of his sorceries. Lastly, for this level, we're going to summon Lucatiel, which I think her soul sign only appears if you talk to her, so just make sure you do that. Now, we're going to kill this boss, and now it's very important that Lucatiel lives through this fight. If she dies, restart the fight. Because in order to finish Lucatiel's side quest, you need to have her live through 3 boss fights, so make sure she lives. Anyways, back in Majula, we're going to go ahead and talk to Benhart. This is over on the, towards the Things Betwixt, the area where you started the game. This is very close to that area, if you just hug the left side, if you're coming from that direction. Go ahead and talk to Benhart, and then by this point, you should have a fragrant branch of yore, so you can go ahead and unthaw this statue, and you will uncover Rosabeth, and there's a trophy to give her clothes, so just go ahead and do that. Just give her some random crap, it doesn't matter. Although, just know that she's going to put it on, so whatever you give her, that's how she's going to look. So, you might care how she looks, I don't know. And of course, buy all her pyromancies, because she is a pyromancer. And then, once you've done that, go back and talk to Benhart, and he will offer you a gesture once you've exhausted his dialogue, which is, you also need to do that for a side quest, so make sure you do that. Now, we're actually going to go back to the Lost Bastille, and we're going to come up to this door. Now, I already did it, so you won't see it, but there's a statue in front of this door that you need to use a fragrant branch on. Just keep following the path. You'll eventually come to the Ruined Sentinel, which is the boss you just saw me kill. And then once you do that, start clicking on all the walls in the boss room. There's like 3 or 4 invisible walls or secret rooms you can uncover. One of them has a sorcery, so you're going to want to open up this chest and loot that bad bitch. You know what I'm saying? There's Hush. We got it. Moving on. Now, continuing the Lost Bastille level, you're also going to come up to another NPC that you're going to have to free using a fragrant branch of yore. You should have 2 by this point, so don't... Or wait, no, sorry, you should have 3 by this point. And once you talk to him, he has a bunch of spells, miracles, pyromancies, and hexes you can buy. And you can also trade in the Ruined Sentinel Soul that we killed earlier to get another spell. You can only get that spell by doing that, so make sure you don't eat the soul. Next up, as we're finishing the Lost Bastille, you can summon Lucatiel once again. Again, make sure you're alive, otherwise the soul signs won't appear. And we're going to defeat the Lost Sinner, which is the first big boss of the game. Once we defeat her, yes, it's a woman, I know, very strange, that will count towards Lucatiel's quest, so now she's survived 2 boss fights. Next up in the Huntsman's Copse, we're going to meet Felkin, and you're going to make sure you want 20 and up faith and intelligence. He will give you his equipment for that, and you should also buy all of his hexes. He sells a bunch of them. You will need his equipment for something later, another side quest down the road, so just make sure you do it. You probably won't have 20 faith and intelligence just yet, but whenever you do get it, just go back and talk to him. Now, this jump is a motherfucker. I died here probably like 20 times, but you need to do it in order to loot that token of fidelity. You need the token in order to come back to Heide's Tower of Flame and talk to this asshat. This is the NPC just after the Ornstein boss fight, or the old Dragon Slayer. And as you can see, he sells some miracles, and he offers a covenant. So just make sure you grab those things using the token. Continuing on the Huntsman's Copse, you will find a key to Creighton's cell. Go ahead and exhaust his dialogue, and you will get yourself another gesture. The key's very easy to find. Next up, we're going to be making our way down the well in Majula. Now, most likely, you're not going to have enough health to do this at this point, because your options are either have a fuck ton of stats and health, or you could buy the Silver Cat Ring from Shalquar in Majula. That's the cat in the house. She sells a bunch of rings, and that is one of them. But you will make your way to the Grave of Saints, which is a new area, and we're going to be looting Whisper of Despair, which you can only get from this location. You will need a Pharros Lockstone. This place has many areas to use a Pharros Lockstone, so make sure you don't use it in the wrong place. Pretty straightforward and easy to find, though. And at the end of this place, we're going to fight the Royal Rat Vanguard, and once you defeat them, not only will you gain access to a new covenant, but you can also take that boss soul, return to Strayed, who we're going to be seeing a lot of, if you couldn't already tell, throughout this gameplay. And we're going to be getting a new spell, a Pyromancy, with his soul. But anyways, you talk to the King of Rats right immediately after the boss. You'll see him before you even leave. And you don't have to join his covenant, as we said. You could just get the trophy, and bada boom. Now, when we're dropping further down the well to the very bottom of the well, you're going to come across this chest. I hit record after I already opened it, but we need the token of spite that's inside. This is the only place you can get it. And then we're going to return to the Huntsman's Copse. This is after you defeat the Executioner Chariot boss. We're going to talk to Tichigren. He offers a covenant, and he sells a bunch of spells, so make sure you buy his stuff. Next up, the Black Gulch. This is the area at the very end of the well, like the path you take. And Great Magic Weapon is going to be in this chest, so make sure you go ahead and grab that. From here, we're going to take a secret path that you can only drop to, which will lead to our good friend Lucatiel, which, as you know by this point, very important that we don't miss any dialogue from her, as it will fuck up her side quest for the entire run, so you really want to make sure you stay on top of Lucatiel. Never miss the chances to talk to her, and this is one of them, so make sure you do that. Once you talk to her, I believe that gives you access to be able to summon her. Now, in order to access this room you're about to see me go into, you need a Fragrant Branch of Yore. Now, I recommend using one there. You don't have to, but you can to not only get access to the bonfire, which is very convenient, but you can also summon Lucatiel. And we need her to survive in 3 separate boss fights, so this will be your next one, since you can have her help you here. Just make sure she doesn't die. What's annoying about the Rotten is he's very resistant to axes, and as you remember from the beginning of the video, I recommended a Hex build because I think they're great. But there are some enemies in the game that just happen to be resistant to it, and the Rotten is one of them. But you can have 3 summons, so it's still pretty doable. Next up, we're going to return just before the boss door and take this secret path, and this is going to lead to some optional secret enemies you can fight. Giants. Who knew? Why the fuck are they here? Who knows? But we're going to kill them in this scary dark cave. Once you've killed them all, you're going to get a Soul of a Giant and the Forgotten Key. Both are very important. We'll talk more about the Souls of Giants later in the video. But for now, we're going to focus on the importance of the Forgotten Key. Travel back up and jump down the path again, the same path we took to get to those giants. But you're going to be able to open this door using the key we just got. and we're going to meet Dark Diver Grandal for the first time, exhaust his dialogue. This is very important for his side quest, and we do need to do it in order to platinum, so make sure you don't miss that. And there's also another door we can open using the Forgotten Key midway down the well, so we're going to start dropping back down that way once again. We're going to open this door. The main important item in here is the key we need to access one of the DLC areas, which is going to be on this body right here. There's also a couple spells you can loot in this room. I recommend doing that because they're right fucking there. You might as fucking well. But yeah, so that's that. Next up, this is going to be around, totally forgot what this area is called. I always forget. But as soon as you get here, we're going to meet Cloanne. Exhaust her dialogue and buy her spells if need be. And she will return to Majula. Further into the level, you're going to see this massive poison mist area. You need to run all the way to the end of it, and we will loot Chameleon Spell. That's the only way to get it, so don't miss it. Next up, we're going to find the Heirs of the Sun Covenant. We're going to get a gesture from that as well. And you need to trade in 30 Sunlight Medals to this Covenant in order to rank it up enough to get the Sunlight Spear Miracle. It's the only way to do it. Now, if you can't find co-op for whatever reason, you can come to this area here, and these enemies you're about to see me start fighting actually have a rare chance of dropping Sunlight Medals. So if for whatever reason multiplayer isn't an option for you, you can kill these guys for all eternity and pray to God that they drop medals. That's the only other way to get them. Find Lucatiel once again and exhaust her dialogue. So she's going to be in this area. She's not too hard to find. Gotta get past this little poison swamp here, and there she is. Make sure you exhaust her dialogue. As always, very important we don't fuck up her quest. Further in the level, we're going to meet an NPC named Laddersmith Gilligan. Now, I'll show you exactly how to get to him from the bonfire here, because this level's pretty confusing. Very easy to get lost. But, there you go. You follow my steps perfectly, and you'll find him sure enough. Now we're going to exhaust his dialogue and learn his gesture. He will return to Majula. You will need to pay him to set up the ladder in order to even do this, so there's no avoiding that. It's only 2,000 souls, not a big deal. But yeah. And by this point, you will have every single NPC in Majula like I did, so if you don't have that trophy by this point, then you missed someone. Now, next up, we're going to be returning to the Lost Bastille. We're going to use the Pharros Lockstone down this ladder. You do have to kill a pursuer in order to do that. And we're going to find the Bellkeeper's Covenant. Now, this was accessible a long time ago. Why am I only talking about it now? Well, because we can only upgrade it now. So I'm bringing it up because once you get to the Iron Keep, this is when you're going to be able to upgrade the Covenant. We're going to need to upgrade it to rank 2, which takes a fuck ton of time. You got to kill a lot of invaders. Now, I'm showing you the only way to do this in the offline method. This trophy's a lot easier to get, or rather, this spell's a lot easier to get when you're fighting players, but I'm assuming you're not going to be able to invade many people because not a lot of people are still playing this game. But if you come here alive, you will get invaded at this exact area you see me standing. Now, I got unlucky. I got invaded by a Bellkeeper. This is not who we need. When you kill him, it doesn't count towards ranking up the Covenant. It needs to be a Mad Warrior. I couldn't get him to spawn, and I got frustrated, so I just used the Bellkeeper as an example. Only the Mad Warrior counts, and he has a very low chance to spawn, unfortunately. At the end of this area, we're going to find the Immolation Pyromancy, so just make sure you finish exploring here. It's the only way to get it. Continuing the Iron Keep, we're going to loot Chaos Storm. Now, you do need the Flash Sweat Pyromancy, which gives you resistance to fire damage, and roll through these jugs of water. The water actually gives you a invisible buff that also adds flame resistance. This is the only way you'll be able to walk over this lava you see me walking on without dying instantly. The resistances give you just enough time to be able to loot this item and survive. Without these two things, you would die way too quickly. Next up, forgot what this area is called, but if you hug the left side here, I forget what all the area is called. I'm so professional. We're going to find Vengarl, talk to him, exhaust his dialogue. You can learn a gesture from him, and you'll also get a trophy for him giving you his equipment. So, two very important things to do there that are trophy relevant. Make sure you do them, bitch. That's right. Alright. at the end of this area, Shaded Woods, I think it's called. Find Darkdiver Grandal for the second time and exhaust his dialogue. Plus, you can loot Homing Soul Mass. It's right next to him. But here you go. This is just before the Scorpion boss chick. Forgot her name. But yeah, you can just drop down that secret hole and find him. Scorpion Najka, that's her name. Now, once you defeat her, you'll get a boss soul. And her soul is one of the few that you can actually trade to Strayed for another spell. So make sure you go ahead and do that. Now we're going to return back to the Shaded Woods, and we're going to talk to Tark in order to learn a gesture. Now, you can only talk to him using the Ring of Whispers, and you can buy the Ring of Whispers from Shalquar in Majula. Again, that's the cat. She will offer the ring. Make sure you buy it. It's the only way to talk to him and get the gesture. Now, continuing the Shaded Woods, we're going to loot the Repair spell. In order to do this, you do need a Fragrant Branch of Yore, but luckily enough, Tark, who we just finished his little thing to get the gesture, he actually gives you a Fragrant Branch at the end of that conversation. So if you didn't have one already, you got one now. And this is the only way to get the Repair spell, so make sure you don't miss it. Fun fact! Alright, loot the Twisted Barricade spell. This is in the Doors of Pharros area. This is just after the Shaded Woods. You will end up here, and it's pretty easy to, you know, not miss that, because it's on the way to the boss. Speaking of the boss, we're going to enter his boss room, and we're going to defeat the Royal Rat Authority boss. He also gives you a soul that you can trade to Strayed for another spell. So you can't miss him. He's not that hard to fight, honestly. He fights a lot like Sif, so he's very predictable. By this point, I was able to fully upgrade my weapon, and which was also enough money to get Macduff's trophy. Because in order to get Macduff's trophy, you just have to spend a set amount of money, as I said earlier in the video. By this point, I was able to do it via fully upgrading my weapon, so I got 2 trophies there. Now, we're going to purchase the most expensive ladder upgrade from Gilligan and exhaust his dialogue for his trophy. There's no avoiding this. You have to buy the most expensive one, so don't be afraid to dig deep in those pockets. I mean, money's money. You can always get more whenever you need it. Doesn't really matter. Alright, next area. I forgot what this place is called as well. We're going to summon Ben Hart in this tent. Very close to the bonfire. Very easy to not miss. And make sure when you fight the Prowling Magus boss that he survives the fight. This is important for his side quest, which you also need for a trophy, so don't fuck it up. Immediately after the boss, we're going to exit the church and climb up this ladder here. And we will speak with Cromwell. He sells some unique spells that only he offers, so make sure you buy whatever you need from him here. And don't fucking miss it. Now we're going to loot Great Fireball. Now, what's annoying about this is you can only loot it after you kill the boss in this area, the Duke's Deer Freya, or Freja, whatever the fuck her name is. The giant spider with 2 heads. You get the key immediately in the next room after defeating her. You'll see this random hollowed farmer dude, and the key will be on the table, but yeah, just go back there and you can loot it. Now, we're going to be making our way over to Drangleic Castle, but before that, you may notice there are some messages on the ground left by the absolute trollest Dark Souls community, saying that there is an illusory wall ahead, try attacking. This is bullshit. It's always bullshit. You want to know what I want to know? Why do these fucking messages always get so many goddamn upvotes? It's so troll. It always makes me think, maybe they're telling the truth. And then I'll stand there like an asshole for like 20 minutes trying to figure it out. And I'm like, maybe there's some trick to it. But there is no trick. It's just me falling for their fuckery. And it's bullshit. And I hate it. And I hate seeing it. And don't fucking do this. And I pray to God you get mildly inconvenienced someday. You motherfucker. Alright, once we get to Drangleic Castle, we're going to speak with Welliger, the invisible apparition man. Seriously, I don't know what his deal is. Why is he invisible? Who knows? Learn his gesture and purchase Great Magic Barrier from him. It will be the only spell he offers. But yeah, you are going to have to talk to him a fuck ton here in order for him to give you access to these things. Seriously, he doesn't shut up. It's great. We're going to be seeing a lot of this NPC in order to platinum, so we will be returning back to him. But don't worry, I'll talk about that later. Next up in Drangleic Castle, the first thing we're going to be happening upon in the far top left door here from the entranceway. You're going to fall through the ground, and we're going to meet Darkdiver Grandal for the last and final time. He will finally give you access to his Covenant. Now, in all 3 of the locations that we met Darkdiver Grandal, he will open a portal to the Dark Chasm, or whatever the fuck it's called, this evil-ass area. You have to beat all 3 sections. They're pretty moderately difficult, and at the end of the 3rd section, you will have to fight a boss named Dark Lurker. This is one of the hardest bosses in the game, but unfortunately, we have to beat her because her soul can be traded to Strayed for a new spell. So we have to do that to Platinum. Also, make sure you buy all of Grandal's spells off of him. He offers new ones. Now, after we do that, we're going to continue our way through Drangleic Castle, and we're going to loot the Frozen Flower, which is just on this body here. Very easy to not miss. We need that to access one of the DLC areas. At the end of this area, after the Dragon Rider boss fight, we're going to find Benhart sitting right in front of the bonfire, exhaust his dialogue. Further into the level, we're going to need to loot the spell Soul Greatsword. It's right after this room with all the statue knights. And it's just in this chest here. It's pretty easy. Although you do get ambushed by 2 headless dudes. Those enemies are really annoying. Now at the end of this area, we're going to summon Benhart. And we're going to fight the Looking Glass Knight boss. But the main idea here is, once again, make sure Benhart doesn't die. It's pretty easy to kill him. The boss, I mean, without Benhart dying, so don't worry too much about it. Just make sure he lives, and you're all good. Alright, and immediately after the boss, you will see this chest just before taking the elevator, and it has the Soul Bolt spell, which you can only get from here, so don't miss it. Seriously. Alright, loot the Sunlight Blade. It's easy to get lost in this area. As I wrote, use the Ogre as a landmark. When you see the Ogre, you will know this is in the Shrine of Amana. And it's very easy to, like, if you take a misstep, you will fall to your death. It's so easy to die here. This area sucks. There's so many ways it can kill you. But once you reach the end of that path, you will find Sunlight Blade, or Sunlight Spear, whatever the fuck it was called. I don't remember. Loot Fire Tempest. Similar to the last chest, it is hidden in the water. Just directly across from the hut we were just in. That one's easier to find. And towards the end of the level, there's going to be a hard as fuck battle here, but once you kill everybody, this is just before the boss in the Shrine of Amana. You will be able to recognize it by all the pillars in a circle. Homing Crystal Soul Mass, you can loot that. It's the only way to get it, don't miss it. Now we're in the Undead Crypt. Speak with Agdane to learn his gesture and purchase whatever spells he's got that you don't. Now, very important, don't approach this guy with a lit torch or the cast light spell at all. He will be hostile, and so will the dudes around him, so it's very important that you don't fuck that up. Literally in the next room, we're going to drop down here, just towards the entryway, and there's going to be a ladder. We're going to climb it, it's going to lead to a chest, and we're going to loot the Crushed Eye Orb, which is important for yet another NPC side quest. So don't miss that. And now we will be returning to Majula, and we're going to use the Crushed Eye Orb near Lycia, and we need to kill her in fucking single combat. Show her who's boss, because she's going to give you a miracle that you can only get from her. So do it. And this is why I said you need to have made sure you bought all of her miracles before this point, because once you kill her, obviously you can't get that stuff, so make sure you buy everything from her before you do that. Now, the boss in the Undead Crypt. We need to defeat Veldstad, and you can trade his soul to Strayed once again for a miracle. So there you go. There's another boss spell. We're making sure we're not missing any of these shits. It's great. Alright, we're going to find Lucatiel for the final time. Exhaust her dialogue. By this point, you'll have the King's Ring once you finish the Undead Crypt. So you'll be able to open the King's Doors, which will give you access to Aldia's Keep. And just before, or right next to the bonfire, rather, we'll meet Lucatiel for the final time. And if you haven't missed any of her dialogue up to this point, and you had her survive 3 boss fights, she will give you her equipment, and if done successfully, you'll get the trophy. That's an easy side quest to fuck up, make sure you don't. Now, as soon as you start Aldia's Keep, you're going to notice this lever opposite to an NPC in a cell. Don't pull the fucking lever. Whatever you goddamn do. If you do, you're gonna fuck his entire side quest up. So don't do that. Now, you need to talk to him while dead. If you talk to him while alive, he won't offer you his side quest. He's gonna ask you to kill NPCs. Now, first target he's gonna ask you to kill is Gilligan, but what's really cool is you can actually get every item Navlan requests without killing the person. So just buy the ladder miniature from him. You'll finish the first target. He'll think that you killed him, but you didn't. And now he's going to ask you to kill Kale, but we're going to put a pin in that because we can't actually get Kale's helmet until we finish this side quest. So we're gonna ignore Navland for now. Continue through Aldia's Keep. You can click on this secret wall here for a bonfire. It's not necessary, but I figured you guys would want the bonfire because this place is annoying. And at the bottom of the stairs, there's going to be this goopy shit that destroys your gear. Loot soul geyser in the goopy shit. Take off all your clothes like I did so you don't break your shit. And after that area, we're going to get to the Dragon Eyrie. Speak with Shanalot and she'll give you the Aged Feather. We are going to need this later. I'll talk more about it later. Just don't miss it. And in the Dragon Shrine or Dragon Sanctum, whatever the fuck this place is called, we're going to take this path here. And once you defeat this invader, you're going to notice a petrified egg up on the altar. We're going to need that. Very important in order to get the one of the covenants, one of the last ones we don't have yet. It's fucking weird. Even if you have a well, you know what? I'll talk more about that later. But drop down from here. This is directly next to the petrified egg we just loot. And we're going to loot Crystal Magic Weapon. This is the only way to get it, so don't fucking miss it. Now, what's weird, we're going to go back to a Magarold, or whatever the fuck his name is, and give him the petrified something we just picked up. And he also sells spells, so buy whichever ones you need from him if you don't have what he offers. But yes, give him the egg when he asks, and he will give you access to his covenant. That's the only way to do it. Now, there are other ways to get petrified somethings in this game, but he will only accept that one. The one that we looted in the Dragon Shrine. So, it's stupid, I know, there's no explanation. Anyways, we're going to return to the Pursuer boss room and exhaust Benhart's dialogue. By this point, you'll be able to enter the Giant's memories, so we're going to enter the memory of Oro. And we're going to meet Benhart again! We can exhaust his dialogue again, and once you... Make sure you finish this area and loot the Giant Soul. You're on a timer when you enter the memories. You will eventually get kicked out if you take too long. So make sure you actually get to the end and get the Giant Soul. That's the whole point of doing these. We need the Giant Souls. We're going to enter the memory of Jay next. Summon Benhart. He'll only be accessible if you exhausted his dialogue. And we're going to defeat the Giant Lord with him. Make sure he survives the fight, as always. And make sure you backtrack to the entrance of the memory of Jay and loot the Giant Soul. Don't forget it. That's right. You can trade the Giant Lord's Soul to trade for a new spell. That's right. I almost forgot. But lastly, we're going to enter the memory of Vamar. We're going to speak with Drummond, who's right at the entranceway. He's going to give you the last gesture you need for the trophy, and you can exhaust his dialogue to get his unique trophy. And also, we're going to make sure we want to get to the end of this area and loot the Giant Soul. Like we said, we're on a timer here, so make sure you don't fuck it up. Actually get to the end of the area and loot the soul. We need them for a optional boss, and I will talk more about that in a bit. But there you go. You got your Gesture Trophy and your Drummond Trophy. And here's the Giant Soul. Oh, I got my ass kicked. I couldn't even get out. And we're going to return to the memory of Oro one last time, where Benhart was. We're going to exhaust the dialogue, and if he survived 3 boss fights and you talk to him at every chance you could, you will get his trophy. Hallelujah! Finally. Much like Lucatiel, his quest is pretty easy to fuck up as well. We're going to return to the Undead Crypt now that we got all those Giant Souls. And you're going to start wailing on Vendrick. Now, he's going to be docile until you damage him enough. And he's very hard to kill. But the reason we got all those Giant Souls was because he actually takes more damage the more Giant Souls you have. Now, we have 4, but there's actually 5 Giant Souls in the game. I never get the 5th, though, because you have to kill the Ancient Dragon to get the 5th, and he is one of the hardest bosses in the game. It's honestly not worth it to kill him. Vendrick's pretty easy. As long as you just stay behind him at all times, he's a bitch. Alright, now once you've done all that, we're going to be heading back over to Drangleic Castle to actually beat the game, technically speaking. You're going to have to fight 3 bosses here in a row. The Throne Watcher and Defender is the first boss. If you haven't killed them already, then you'll have to fight them right now. And immediately following the boss fight, you are going to be thrown into another boss fight with Nashandra, who is the person we are actually here for. She is the default last boss, not the true last boss. Ever since Call of the First Sin came out, there's actually a new final boss, who is, you fight them immediately after killing Nashandra. Hence why this is a 3-boss battle type shtick. But Nashandra is the important one, because once you kill her, that is what we need to finish Kale's side quest, which is mainly why we're doing this. And don't worry, this isn't like other Souls games where when you beat the game, you're immediately thrown into New Game Plus. Luckily, Dark Souls 2 is awesome, and you get to actually manually choose when you want to begin your New Game Plus. So even if you beat the last boss, you don't have to worry about just getting thrown into the credit scene. I would recommend immediately homeward boning or aged feathering out of the boss fight with Aldia, I think his name is, or whatever the fuck. The third boss. But anyways, head back to Majula after that. We're going to talk to Kale, and now the entire map will be lit up thanks to defeating Nishandra, and he will give you his helmet, which is great, because then you get his trophy for his side quest. And now we're going to return to Navlan. Now, he's going to ask you to kill Falcon, but you won't have to, because if you followed my guide earlier, I said to raise your stats enough to get his gear. Falcon will give it to you for free, and you don't have to kill him. Pretty great. So you should have already had it by now. He'll then ask you to kill the Emerald Herald, which is bullshit. Obviously, you're not going to do that. Lest he wants to get bitch smacked. But you will already have the feather because she gave it to you. Remember? Haha! So he'll give you the reward for that, which is great. And that is going to be it for Navlan's side quest, which is pretty great. Now we're going to be tackling the DLC areas, which are, you know, now required to actually platinum the game, unlike the PS3 version of the game. The DLCs were separate from the main game, but in Scholar of the First Sin, you actually need to play the DLC areas in order to platinum, which sucks, but it is what it is. Now, at the Black Gulch Primal Bonfire, you will have access to the Shulva Sanctum City, or whatever the fuck this place is called. And you're going to see this little hidden thingy here behind the statues with the red eyes. Shoot it with a very well-placed shot, and you will raise the ground, allowing you access to this little snug little area in the corner here. And it is going to have our required loot, which is going to be Promised Walk of Peace. It's a hex, and of course we need it for the trophy for all hexes. So that's how you get that. Pretty easy to figure out how to get here. It's not very hidden. Next up, we're going to be looting the Dark Greatsword. You'll only be able to get this after you activate the shortcut elevator, so you'll need to play quite a bit of the level before you can actually get this. But once you do have access to this elevator, you're going to want to jump off midway, as you see me doing here, and just follow the path, and it will lead you to a chest containing the Dark Greatsword. I already looted it, but there you go. You can see it in my inventory. It's all good. Now, this is just before the dragon of the area lands on the bridge and scares the fuck out of you. And you're going to want to just come off to the side here, roll past the pots, and you can loot Focus Souls. There you go. There's another spell. That's going to be... Oh, no, wait. No, there's one more. So this is going to be in the spike room area. You can actually pull... there's a switch in the area to get rid of the spikes, which is why you don't see them on my screen. But you have to shoot that button 3 times behind this door. You'll have to do it at 3 different angles, because the door changes shape each time you hit the button. But once you've got it to be the way you need it to be in order to get in, go ahead and open that chest, and you will get Denial, which is a miracle. There you go. We need it to platinum. And that's going to be everything in the first DLC. Now, in order to access the second DLC, I never actually showed this, but you want to go back to the Forest of Fallen Giants, take this little drop here. You won't lose much health if you do it this way. The flame salamanders are fucking scary, though, so you're going to want to do your best to dodge their fireballs. They're pretty good accuracy, too, so be careful. But if you come down here, off to the side here, you're going to see a little skeleton. And I already looted it. It's already in my inventory, so you won't see it, but it's right there, exactly where I clicked on the message. Once you have the key, we're going to head back to the Old Iron King Primal Bonfire, which is at the end of the Iron Keep. And you're going to have a shrine, same as last time, or similar to the other DLC, which will give you access to Brume Tower. So that's going to be the second DLC. Now, the thing about this DLC, you're going to see these weird fucking things all over this place. They're called Ashen Items. Now, you need these items called Smelter Wedges in order to destroy them. There's 12 of them in total, 12 wedges and 12 Ashen Idols. Destroy every idol in the entire area, and each of them will drop a fragment of a Nidalia soul. Now, once you have all 12 fragments, you'll be able to have the legit soul, and then you can trade it to Strayed for a Pyromancy, I believe. So you do need to do that. It's going to be a lot of work, but you got to do it up if you want to platinum. Find and loot Dance of Fire. You're going to see it. You have to come this way in order to even do this level, so it's kind of hard to miss that. You can see it in my inventory here. There you go. Find and loot fire snake. So you will need the tower key. You'll have to find that first. It's not that hard to find. But it opens this door. And then you come through here. I'm ignoring all the enemies just for the sake of the recording the video. But if you run down the stairs, first room on your right, open the chest, and you will find Fire Snake, yet another pyromancy. There you go. Needless to say, I am not getting out of here alive. Now, once you get to this area, you'll see this big chain leads off to a tower over here. You will follow the path down this ladder. There's a bunch of doors in this room. One of them contains the spell Recollection. I think it's a hex, if I remember correctly. But yeah, you're going to want to grab that. We're going to need it. And I believe that's everything in the second DLC. Now, for the third DLC, the Shrine of Winter, you can access it from the Shaded Woods. We needed the Frozen Flower, which we already got from Drangleic Castle. Once you reach this area here, you have to come this way in order to even beat the level, so it's really hard to miss this. Use the tree as a landmark. But you're going to want to come down this alleyway, and there's two corpses with items on it in this area. One of them is going to have Dark Dance, so if you just come over here, once again, I already looted it. Yeah, I had a lot of trouble finding these things, so I kind of did it off camera and then recorded after the fact, but there you go, that's where it is. Once you reach this area, you're going to find this little enemy. You have to come this way. You can't possibly miss it. But take care of him. Enter this small little room. You're going to see a lever. I already pulled it, but you're going to want to pull it when you see it. And then once you do that, return to the beginning of the level, and you'll notice that this room is now accessible to you thanks to pulling that lever. Open the chest, and you'll get the spell Soul Flash. There's that one. Now, back to where we pulled the lever originally. Again, you have to come this way in order to even do the level, so it's really hard to miss this. Come off to the right here. The path does split into two directions, so you're going to want to take a right, like I said, instead of going down the stairs. Come up the ladder, and we're going to get Splintering Lightning Spear, which is one of the last lootable spells. All the other spells, I'm going to get to that on how to get them, but yeah, that's the last one in the DLC, baby. Yeah! Alright, so now, once you've started at New Game Plus, once you're finished with your first playthrough, the Sinner, the Rotten, the Iron King, and Freya will all drop brand new souls, unlike the ones they originally dropped, and they all make brand new spells. One makes a sorcery, a miracle, a pyromancy, and a hex, and they're all only accessible on New Game Plus. You can use a bonfire aesthetic, but I don't recommend that. Lastly, once you're on your third playthrough, so that's New Game Plus Plus, you're going to want to return to Welliger once again, and he will be selling a slew of new spells. These are going to be the last ones that you need. In order to platinum, you should have every spell up to this point. I've showed where they all are and how to get them. But that's going to be that, so you won't be able to platinum until New Game Plus Plus, which really fucking sucks. It's going to be really challenging. This is the part of the platinum where it'll test your limits, but once you do it, you'll have everything, and you're good to fucking go. So that is going to be it. And that is going to be it. That's all trophies in Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. And of course, if you guys enjoyed, then please be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to support me. I'd really appreciate it, and it would really help me out. And if you guys want to see more guides on more games or daily content in general, then be sure to keep up with my channel. And I will be with you guys again very soon. That being said, have a great day, everybody. That's it for me, and I will definitely see you in the next one. So take care.